Hi world, hi Columbus, hi whoever you are, wherever you are watching. My name is Jori Turner and I am the events coordinator at Local Matters, and welcome to another episode of In the Kitchen with Local Matters. Welcome to my kitchen. All right, this is where a lot of magic happens. One of my favorite places in my house. I love to cook and I am super excited to be cooking a dish with you, and this is actually, I would say, one of my favorite recipes that we do with Local Matters within the community. And before I show you what that is, I just want to talk a little bit about why I chose the recipe. So this recipe, like I said, it's one of my favorites in terms of taste. But then it's also something that is very cost effective. And I know that, within the season that we're in right now, that's something that's super important to a lot of people. Making sure that we're getting food that is good for our bodies, but also that's going to be good for our pockets, okay? Because what we don't want to do is we don't want to go broke. We want to make sure that we are saving where we can save. And so this is a recipe that is absolutely going to help you to be able to do that. Another thing that I like about this recipe is that it is one of those recipes that is what we call a framework. All right, so at Local Matters, we love frameworks because frameworks are recipes that they have a skeleton, right? But then you can alter it according to your taste buds, what you like, according to what's in season. And oftentimes, what is in season is going to, again, help you with that budget. And then also what you have available at your house, all right? So I use some things that I have available at my house for this, especially as we are being ordered to stay at home, which I encourage everybody to do if you can. We don't have a lot of time and flexibility, that we would normally have to be able to just be like, all right, I'm headed to the store. Once we go to the store, that's a big haul. A lot of times that's happening. You come back, do what you need to do, and you're not really trying to go back outside, right? And so we're going to use what we have available, all right? And this is another thing that I love about this recipe is that it is absolutely wonderful for our bodies, all right? Lots of vitamins, lots of nutrients, lots of fiber, all that good stuff, all wrapped into one, all right? So, without further ado, we are going to be making whole wheat pasta with seasonal veggies, all right? So the seasonal veggies that I chose for this, you will see we have a red onion. Please feel free to use whatever onion you want to, even green ones. All right, we have a sweet potato that I have already washed off. We have some broccoli. We also, in here, we have some peppers. And then we have some mushrooms, all right? So we are going to put all these things into our pasta. One note that I do want to make is that with our peppers, they are actually frozen peppers, okay? So the good thing about this recipe is that you can use fresh produce, you can use frozen produce, you can use canned produce, all right? And that's what makes it so special, especially since right now a lot of us are moving into a space where we are consuming, more frozen produce and then also canned foods, all right? So some things that aren't here that might be really good in your pasta would be some tomatoes, so like some canned stewed tomatoes, something like that. Some beans would be really good in this. Corn, all right? So you could do frozen corn, you could do canned corn. Anything like that you want to put into your pasta, you can make this pasta your own, which is why I love this recipe. Even with our broccoli, all right? So with our broccoli, you could use frozen broccoli instead of the fresh broccoli, all right? This was on sale, and so, I had the broccoli in my pantry, all right? So one thing I do want to note, even beyond the beautiful colored bowls that we have here that I absolutely love, you can also see that we are eating the rainbow, which is something that we love to do at Local Matters, all right? So we have some green, we have some yellow, some red, some brown. We're going to have some orange. We have, this is called a red onion, but of course the pigment actually, it is purple, all right? So in that way, we know that we are getting lots of vitamins, all right? So even with this, it's one of those foods that's super comforting also. So I'm not going to lie to y'all right now. I've been carb loading. And sometimes I know a lot of us have a lot of emotions right now. And for me, sometimes I eat my emotions. And I know that some of you might eat your emotions. So if we're gonna do that, then let's try to make it something that's giving us what we need, that comfort, that warmth, all right, that full feeling, but then also that's gonna give us the things that our body actually needs, all right? So then we also have our pasta, all right? So with the pasta, you can use whatever kind of pasta you want, all right? So if you like that veggie pasta, I really got into like the red lentil pasta. You can use the enriched pasta if that's what you have available. You know, whatever pasta you want to use, you can, all right? For this, we are actually going to use a whole wheat pasta, all right? You got to excuse the box. It's been through some things, okay? But this is actually from Kroger, okay? And this is, I believe 99 cents, sometimes a dollar. You can get this for, and so that's what I really like about this, is that it is inexpensive. And that is absolutely what, you know, a lot of us are craving right now. And then another reason, you know, going back to why I chose this recipe is because there is a book that we read with our students in the classroom, and it is called Stregonona, and it is written by an author who recently passed away, and his name is Tommy DePaula. All right, and so to honor his legacy, I thought that it would be a really cool idea to make some whole wheat pasta. All right, so all these things that our Local Matters values, and then also, you know, honoring, you know, an author that we really enjoy and love, and then also honoring our taste buds. All right, this is all in one. I'm going to show you my magic pasta pot. All right, so it has gone through some things, but it is old faithful. I love this pot. All right, and this is what I'm going to cook our pasta in. All right, so boil pasta pot. I don't know if you can see the steam coming from it. All right, but I'm gonna let that water continue to boil, and then we're gonna go ahead and put some of our noodles, but we will worry about that in a little bit. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and get started chopping and cutting and dicing our produce. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to start off with this right here. I will say that I have already washed my hands, but you know what? In an effort to really get into it again, let's wash hands again, all right? And of course, we want to make sure that we are washing our hands for 20 seconds. I'm actually going to I have my hand soap under here. And I'm going to get a little bit of that. All right, so we got our hand soap, got our warm water, and we are going to make sure that we wash those hands. Let's see, what song can we sing? They say happy birthday. We can do the other version of happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. All right, so we got that. And I'm cleaning my fingertips, making sure I'm getting all that action, making sure I'm getting those thumbs nice and good. All right, getting in between, getting all the crevices of my hands. And that friction is what's going to help to kill anything that is on my hands. All right. That water might be a little bit too lukewarm for me. All right. So we got that. Rinse it off. And I am going to get my paper towel, and we are all good to go, good people to cut, okay? So I am going to start off with my garlic, and so I heard some of that skin, so that means that skin is going to be easy to remove. I have a grater, so I'm going to go ahead and grate my garlic, and to make sure, there we go. So I love garlic, and it is one of the things that makes cooking smell so good, especially the garlic paired with the onion. super duper good. All right, so we have that. I'm just going to take my finger and just swipe it across the grater. And we will put all of that here. Then I'm going to take my herb. This is some rosemary, all right? So fresh rosemary was on sale also. So I was like, you know, I enjoy a nice fresh herb. So we're going to cut that. And I'm just going to keep that over here. So if you notice, I took my knife, flipped it upside down, and moved it that way to move the food across. That helps to keep your sharp edge of your knife sharp. All right, rather than doing it this way, you can do it this way. The beautiful thing about our pepper is that because it was frozen, it is already cut up. I think our mushrooms, I like the size of this mushroom. If you would like to cut your mushrooms, then of course you have that opportunity to. I am going to take our broccoli. So all of this has been washed before. One thing I didn't mention is that we're going to take our claw, all right, and just move it that way. So I'm the type of person, I like to get all of the nutrients, all right, all of it. Keep that in there. So I like the stalk of the broccoli in addition to the head part, all right? And the cool thing about broccoli is that you don't have to be super neat about it. You can just simply do a dice. All right, so I'm going to put a lot of broccoli in my pasta. I love all different color fruits and veggies. But there is just something about when I get to see that green in my food. It just makes me happy. All right, so I am going to put that broccoli in here. I probably should have saved that broccoli for last because it's going to be the messiest one. But that's okay. We're just cooking. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to rinse off my knife. We're going to cut our onion. All right, so with our onion, it's important to find a flat surface. So I'm going to create one because onions do not naturally have flat surfaces. All right, so now we have a flat surface. I'm going to use a little less than half of this onion for this dish. I'm also a person who loves onions. So we're just going to peel off the skin of the onion. Hopefully I don't cry too much. But you know what? If you need to cry, then this is an opportunity. We're going through tough times right now. So this is, if you're not a person who enjoys crying and letting it out, then this is a good excuse, all right? So if you got somebody living in the house with you and you crying when they walk past, then you can just be like, it's just the onion, that's it. It's okay. So I made my slivers, and then I'm going to take my knife and then move the other way. So you can see we have that nice, fine, pretty uniform. I'm going to move it that way. Pretty uniform dice. All right, so I'm going to keep that right here. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to grab my other bowl, and this is going to be the catch-all bowl because I'm going to put everything together. So y'all, I'm already starting to cry. All right, so there is that. I'm going to go ahead and add that broccoli in there too. I'm going to go ahead and add the mushroom and the pepper. And then we are going to dice our sweet potato. So I'm creating a flat surface in that way. This is probably, that part is not the best technique. But you know what I'm saying? I've been doing this for a while, so I trust myself. I'm going to keep my skin on, but you also have the opportunity to peel it. You can peel it with a knife or with a peeler, whichever you prefer. So I am going to put all of this together eventually. For the purpose of this, what I'm going to do is I am going to rinse out this bowl. And then I'm going to put my sweet potatoes in one bowl and then the other produce like you saw in the other bowl. The reason I'm going to do that is because the sweet potato is going to take longer to cook than the other produce that we have. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let you look up. So what we're going to do is we are actually going to roast the sweet potatoes. So I have a lot of work to do, and I really don't want to take the time to saute the produce. So if you wanted to saute, you absolutely could. I am going to mix all of the produce together. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to take a tablespoon, and I'm going to take a tablespoon of olive oil. So olive oil is what I have, but if you have other oil, I would say that in terms of taste, I do prefer the olive oil, but if you have canola oil, that works. If you're a little fancier and you have some avocado oil, grapeseed oil, that type of oil, that also can be used here. So I am going to use a little over half of that tablespoon, just to be mindful about how much oil I'm putting on things. I'm going to put the rosemary there. And then I also am going to put half of that garlic. So if you're not a garlic person, then you don't have to add a lot of garlic. But what I'm doing is I'm coating everything with the oil and the garlic and the rosemary. All right, so that's really going to help that taste. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of salt. All right. So my salt is somewhere. I should have had it out. All right, so we're going to do a little Salt Bae action. I'm not nearly as cool, but that's all right. So I'm mixing that salt. You can also add other things. So if there were other herbs that you wanted to add, maybe some dry herbs, that would be really good in here. If there are other produce, if there's other produce that you wanted to use, then you absolutely have that option. Then what I am going to do is I am going to take all of the produce. I have my cooking sheet. I have some parchment paper because I'm lazy and I don't like to scrape and all that stuff on my pan. So I'm just going to lay all of those things out. All right, kind of spread it out as best as possible to make sure it is cooked evenly. All right, so you can see that. Beautiful. And I'm going to put that in the oven. Before I do that, I'm going to follow that same process with the oil and the salt and put that on the sweet potato. And I'm going to put a little garlic on there too. I've actually never done that before with the garlic and the sweet potato, so I'm going to see how that tastes. I think it's going to be super good. Some things to note is that, or a thing to note is that I have my oven on. I have preheated it to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And I am going to put the potatoes in first. I'm going to do those for about 20 to 25 minutes. And then turn them over and then put them on for an extra 5 minutes. And then I am going to put my other produce in there into the oven. And I'll probably keep that on for maybe about 10 to 15 minutes. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to add my whole wheat noodles to our water, which is boiling, to my magical pasta pot, like we learned in Steganona. All right, so that water is a little bit salted. And then I'm going to allow that to cook for about 8 minutes, all right, and strain that. And then I'm going to put everything together, and then we're going to be all done. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on the rest of the work that I have, and then we are going to come back, and then I'll let you see how everything turns out, all right? All right, so we are back. I finished a little bit of work, which was super good. And then I took everything out of the oven and mixed it all together. So the produce and the whole wheat pasta all go together. And then at that point, you are essentially done. So this is what it looks like. So if you can see, there is lots of color, like we mentioned. Let me put it actually in the frame. All right, we got our noodles. And I'm super excited to eat. I'm so hungry. Some things that I did add after I tasted it, I'm a taster of things. I added a little bit of salt. I added a little bit of dry herb. So this is an Italian seasoning, so it has things like the rosemary that we used before, oregano, thyme, sage, and then a little bit of fresh cracked pepper. And so that is something that I like. If you are a person who likes sauce with your pasta, then you could have, of course, your pre-made spaghetti sauce or any sauce that you like. But then also you can make, if you like spaghetti sauce, you can make it with some tomatoes, some canned tomatoes. All right, so that's something that you could also do. Love this dish again because you can make it your own. Okay, and I think that that is something that is super duper special. So that is our time together. I thank you for coming into my kitchen. You are always welcome. I think that we'll actually be together again at some point. I think we'll maybe do some type of celebratory or snack food. I think those will be very, very fun. One thing that I do want to say is that I hope that during this season that is new to essentially all of us, that you are well. All right, that you are well. And by well, I mean, of course, physically well, but especially mentally and emotionally well. And that you're taking some time for yourself in all of this because, I mean, it is a lot. I hope that you are watching our videos, that you're enjoying them, my other colleagues in their kitchens, of course, our Food Matters lessons, our gardening workshops. So be sure to follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and please be sure to continue to watch the videos and enjoy and hang out with us. Thank you so much. I'm going to end out with some good old music. That's one thing I like to do when I cook. And in honor of Mr. Bill Withers, we're going to have some lovely day. Have a lovely day. Hey, hey, hey. Thanks. Bye.